Chat, meet your new Hoshi at OffKai. This inclusive VTuber convention is genuinely cooked by Ref. Yep, this is about OffKai. You know, the ones that basically told Kirschit to F off because of her beliefs, right? But they have no issue in, we're gonna go into that. They have no issue with other things. We're gonna look at this. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going in. You're just sitting on the train. I felt like I needed a shower. Damn, that's gross, bro. That's actually gross. Ugh. Anyways, we'll go in. You will meet your Hoshi on Fansly. We're going in.
Hey, what's up guys, Ruff here. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the OffKai Expo situation. For those who are not familiar, this is a VTuber-centered convention. This is their 5th time doing it. But right now, they are getting absolutely blasted on Twitter. They faced controversy before, as I will talk about shortly. But this time...
By the way, 13 to 17-year-olds are allowed at OffKai. Whether they have without parental, was it with parental or without parental consent? I don't know, but they're allowed to go on their own, which is very interesting. And now they're quote unquote collabing with Fansly. It's just getting better and better and better and better.
A lot of people are concerned due to the very least their vagueness about a recent sponsor and set of related events. Or, at the maximum, people are concerned that unaccompanied minors that are allowed at this event will be exposed to adult content. So here's OffKai Expo and their main page. This is an event in California, which will make a lot of sense in just a second. That'll be underway in mid-July this year. Now, recently, a lot of people discovered that one of the major sponsors of OffKai...
Meet your Hoshi, chat. Meet her. Meet your Hoshi. Without, yeah, wonderful. Great. Awesome. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I don't care if you get mad. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. VTubing is now just an easy way to funnel in your adult content. VTubing is now only good for one thing and one thing only. To make corn. It's an easy corn pipeline. No, it's nothing else. It's nothing else. It's just so hilarious, right? You look back at like 2016, right? You look back at like when Hololive dropped their first English generation, right? And now we're here. And people like, yeah, I can see why nobody likes the EN part of VTubing. I think I'm starting to understand. It's because it's essentially just a collection of e-girls. It is just a collection of e-girls. And it's like funny. It's like interesting, right? And there's a little bit of hypocrisy for VTubing fans. I'm gonna say it the way it is. It's like ho with model. Yay! Ho with model. Ho without model. Problem. What is this double standard? It's like, what's the difference? What's the difference between an e-girl with a model and an e-girl without a model? What's the there is no difference. There is no difference. I'm gonna say it the way it is. There's no difference. They're just they're essentially the same thing. Right? Whether it's whether I'm watching Morkpie on Twitch or I'm watching Fifi on Twitch, there is no difference. They're the exact same thing at the end of the day. Anyways, moving on. And that doesn't factor in that a lot of these women don't even watch anime. In fact, you may look back into the history and realize that they may have bullied people for watching anime in the past, and they're just doing it because it's an easy way to make money. Moving on. You get the idea.
OffKai Expo Generation 5 is Fansly. Now let me describe this platform as it's described on their page. Fansly is the site for spicy VTubers and more. This 18 plus site is full of the top VTubers in the space with the ability to sell paywalled content, stream, and connect with their fans. Find your next Oshi at this
Hoshi. Anyways,
website with the backslash VTuber. Now, of course, this video is going to get absolutely fried in the algorithm because I'm saying all these no-no words and phrases. So help me out algorithmically by liking this video, commenting, or even subbing, because that will help counterbalance the bots who are going to be very angry at the words I'm saying. But we're talking about this sponsor, which, by the way, seems to be a very recently added one. And yeah, not only is this kind of the modern state of Western VTubing right now, where there's so much focus on adult content and platforms like this, it also raises questions as to whether or not this is a good idea for an event like this.
it isn't. It isn't. I'm gonna go even further and say something. I think the over-sexualization is tainting the medium. Moving on.
Because this convention is not 18 plus by itself. There are plenty of 18 plus VTuber focused conventions out there, and if they want to have a sponsor like this, it would, I guess, make sense, and it would be more appropriate. But OffKai is not an 18 plus event. In fact, as we'll see, minors can attend, including unaccompanied minors. So when OffKai made this announcement on Twitter today, there's been a lot of backlash. They say your next Oshi is waiting, and for those who are not too familiar with VTubers, that basically means your favorite VTuber, right? So they continue on saying, we're excited to announce that Fansly is joining OffKai Generation 5. Come find them at the exhibitor hall and meet some of their incredible talents. That's
debatable. That's debatable. That is very debatable. That is debatable. That is, I'm gonna say this, that is debatable. Honestly, this is I have the same issue with this as with any other adult platform, to be fair. But yeah. That is quite debatable. I don't know. I don't know if Showboob is a great talent, because I think almost all women can do that. I wish we would shame people more. Where is the shame? How much talent do you need for corn? It's all, at the end of the day, it's technically all genetics for the most part, right? I remember, right? We had recently the VTuber IRL trend again, right? VTuber versus IRL, and it's shit legit just like, you look through all these posts of like VTuber versus IRL and you look at the links, right? You click Linktree and it's just like adult platform, adult platform, adult platform, adult platform. It's just over and over and over and over. It's just the same thing, which to me sounds like they're just using this trend to funnel people into their adult platform, adult content, and that's it. We should shame these people more, but we don't, because we completely right? I'm not the most VTuber, right? I don't play a role necessarily. Sometimes maybe a little bit, but like, I don't play a role necessarily, right? So I'm guessing I sit a little bit in a glass house throwing rocks. But anyways, I still think that not showing your face and being a VTuber is part of the deal. That's just me though. Hi Nini, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. That's just me though. I think that's still part of the deal. Moving on.
Debatable phrase, if we're being honest, for a platform that is exclusively for posting not safe for work content. But then again, let's keep moving here, right? You can see their entire caption is about finding the best 18 plus website where you're
the best 18 plus website, chat. VTuber has become just one thing, corn. Wonderful.
Next Oshi and so much more will be waiting for you. And as I pointed out earlier, of course, this is happening in California, many such cases. Now, the replies are not just dunking on this announcement, it's pointing out some legitimate concerns that are not addressed at all by this post or anything on their website right now. I can see Madam Savvy saying kids walk around during the day. Surely this is not going to be done while kids are around, correct? Surely we're not going to put adult content in front of children, right? And here's a quote from someone who makes this sort of content, and even they have an issue with this sort of concept and at least the details we have surrounding it right now. I don't mind Fansly, obviously, I do not say for content there myself. However, I don't think this should be in the convention where there are children walking around. If it's in an adult-only section, that's one thing, but I don't think it is. And right now, just looking around at the available information, we don't know. And at the very least, this shows...
Yeah, we don't know how they're going to handle this. How they're going to verify this. Because again, kids can walk around without their parents. You don't need parents. That's all. Poke fans, no, never. And the only one who would receive those pics is you, Stomach, so it's good. It's all good.
Little regard for what's going on at this convention. If you're going to introduce something like this, you should make it very clear this is barred, 18 plus only. But right now, we know this convention allows children, and they're having this as a prominent sponsor and part of their overall convention. That is something to look into, okay? This isn't just simply shaming VTubers for having these sorts of platforms. It's asking very legitimate questions and raising legitimate concerns about whether or not kids at the convention will be exposed to this stuff. And one of the people to raise these concerns and some very valid...
My favorite VTuber, the Porsche, the butter dog. The Porsche, nom nom, nom nom indeed. The Porsche. Apparently, was it Kirsche? I think it was Kirsche. She just showed her her plushie, and it was like censored on Twitter, which was so weird.
Questions is Kirsche. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this VTuber. She has not only some insight on the situation, but also has a bit of a history with OffKai. In fact, back in 2023, 2024, I believe, I made this video talking about a very complex situation involving OffKai, where Kirsche was supposed to have a panel there, and she was shut down, essentially for wrong thing. I'll put a link to this video in the description if you want to check it out. But long story short, she was blacklisted.
Bro, that was 2 years ago? That was 2 years ago, bro. That was 2 years. That's already 2 years ago.
Listed as a featured guest, but still allowed to go to the convention and buy a ticket and spend money, which is just insulting. But a lot of it had to do with her edgy content, which is ironic given what they're allowing now. And this is just one of many screenshots from that video where some of the...
Yeah, her edgy content, quote-unquote edgy content, which we also just call the truth.
People involved with the convention explained why she was banned. And it says a lot of them come down to gender identity and DEI type issues she has talked about. And this is just a sample of what was sent to Kirsche, and it's absolutely ridiculous. You can pause and read for yourself. One of the examples...
Interesting. Yeah, I will not read this, but there's some problems, right? Yeah, OffKai is interesting. There were multiple disasters. There was a disaster after that as well. I don't remember exactly what it was anymore, but it was also very interesting. Was it regarding Pippa? I could be wrong, but there was something. I think also that Ref and Straub didn't go there either. After that happened with Kirsche, anyways.
Examples provided always makes me laugh. They're showing this as a reason why she's not allowed to be a featured guest, where she made a joke about pronouns on Discord, where she had to make a choice about pronouns after it was rolled out for the platform. and she labeled herself as burger/queen. And apparently that is too much wrong thing. That is far beyond what's allowed at OffKai. So obviously she has a bit of a history, and also me and my wife, Darling Straub, have a bit of a history because we saw what was happening with Kirsha, and we were supposed to be featured guests at this convention. And we basically said, if you don't reinstate Kirsha,
which is like so interesting. Okay, so Kirsha was a problem, right? But Ref and Straub were not, particularly Ref, right? Because you know the content that Ref does, right? Anti-censorship, calling out DEI when it is a problem. You get the idea, right? That was not that was not an issue, right? But Kirsha was, which is so interesting.
we're not going to be guests anymore. And well, guess what? We weren't guests because they never corrected their mistakes involving that previous situation. But let's return to the current situation. So Kirsha points this out, saying, why is this marketed in the exhibitor hall instead of the after hours yabai market where the adult content is typically located?
Hold up. Be right back. Snack time. Take care. Hold up. So this is essentially, wait, so this is a marketed at the time where minors can be around? What on earth are you doing? What are you doing?
When this is also a con that allows unaccompanied minors. And she points out this section that says, I am between 13 to 17 years old. Do my parents have to accompany me at the convention or attend the convention? From 13 to 17, minors may attend the convention on their own, with or without their parents, with written permission from your parents or a legal guardian in order to attend. Permission is obtained by downloading and printing out this minor consent form. Your parent or legal guardian must fill out the form and then have it taken to a notary and signed in the notary's presence. The other way permission can be obtained is to have your parents come to the registration with you and fill out the parental consent form on site. Only in California, ladies and gentlemen, would something like this exist. We have these forms that would allow a 13 to 17-year-old to pull up to a convention that has adult content at it. And based on what Kirsha's describing, it's in places that seem to be...
But it's with or without. So they can, but don't have to. They can, but they don't have to. That's not fun. That's kind of horrible. But they can and don't have to
be open to the general public who's attending this convention. It's not roped off or anything like that, as far as we know. And looking at the actual website itself, what she's pointing out is very real. Here is the related section we just read. And here's the actual form, by the way, which is just absolutely crazy. Here's an idea. If you want to go into this route of having adult platforms sponsor your convention and have specific events surrounding it, and you want to use it as a marketing tool and as a way to bring in not only featured guests, but
waiting until the hub starts sponsoring OffKai. Why is this exactly a thing? Why is that needed, right? Then you just turn the entire thing 18 plus and move the fuck on. Why don't you just turn the entire thing 18 plus? Focus, spoil me. You are already spoiler rotten.
Also to promote them and your convention through these adult platforms. How about you just make the event 18 plus? There's an idea. Or will that be like a financial loss or something? Or will it upset the convention staff that we know is already pretty wackadoo over at OffKai? But yeah, this is pretty crazy. Just make it 18 plus and then, have a ball with all this stuff. But, going back to this is all a very, very legitimate concern that Kirsha is raising. Like, if you're going to make such a big deal out of bringing this platform as a sponsor and having related events, you should make these sorts of things.
Well, they just made everyone mad, right? They made the people mad with the that don't like Fansly. They made the people mad that don't want to have minors there when Fansly is there. They made just everyone mad. Every possible, and they obviously made the people mad previously that were already mad at them even more mad probably. So they pissed just off everyone they could successfully, by the way, which is interesting, right? They're getting cooked on their post, right? They're getting absolutely destroyed. This thing has 307 quote tweets. It has 922 likes. It has like how many replies? That shit stain has like a bunch of them, and they're getting absolutely cooked, right? Ratioed back and forth, up and down. It is hilarious, right? Just absolutely cooked. How many did that have? How many replies does it have? 335 replies. Yeah, you're cooked. You're cooked.
Very separate, far and away. This already sounds like a bad idea, letting these unaccompanied minors being at OffKai, but it's even worse when you have Fansly promoting all these events. Okay, that is not being close-minded or anything, because I can already hear people screeching about this, saying how Kirsha's being some bigot or something for pointing this stuff out. But no, you should not want unaccompanied minors at.
If they call her a bigot, what do they mean by this? What do you mean by that if you have a problem with this? What in fact do you mean by that? That's a bit odd to say that. Do you want to say something? To the wood chipper?
A convention where one of the sponsors is Fansly, where they're also running a bunch of related events. And you can see people pointing out at Vexpo, any and all related not safe for work content happened in a corner of the hall. Everything was clearly labeled, hidden behind curtains, and had people on watch duty to avoid minors getting anywhere close. I seriously hope OffKai is wise enough to create a similar plan, because the con staff are all neo-Marxists who are also hyper-sexual deviants. Well, they don't have a very good reputation, that's for sure. And also, again, just odd that all this is allowed and such a focus at a convention like this that is not an 18-plus event. And then I would go to their Instagram where they also announce this and look at some of the replies, but they don't have like any presence over here, in fact.
Interesting and crazy. And the two replies that are there. The two replies that are there are not comfortable with this. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
There's two replies, and I don't really know where they stand. One saying interesting ... and the other saying crazy. I don't know if they're excited about this or what, but overall, this entire situation is very odd. And if you're going to go this route with your convention, well, you should be a lot more specific about what this entails and how it's going to be exposed to your convention goers that include unaccompanied minors. And on top of that, there's the irony of people like Kirsha in the past being banned for their wrongthink, or at least banned as guests, featured guests, and then you allow this sort of stuff and you seem to have really no rails.
It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't think this is what VTubing should be. This is weird. I don't like this. Are we losing brain cells? Are we evolving backwards?
No guardrails in place to police and really control what's going on with this event and anything related to it. So yeah, these are all questions that should have been answered already. They should have been answered at the very announcement itself, but now there is plenty of stir on social media, and we'll see if OffKai has any response, because it's been hours already and they've been radio silent. So I don't know. That's really my 2 cents about this entire situation right now. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, consider liking the video. Consider subscribing as well for daily uploads here on YouTube, as well as multiple.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. Yeah. This is rather interesting. Anyways, go to OffKai. Meet your new Hoshi. She's gonna be why is this happening exactly? Where did we go wrong? Moving on. Diabolical. Anyways, yeah, that is just sad. That is just very sad. This is sad. Why is that a thing? Why do we need this? Why are all? Anyways, moving on.